Let me take this off because it's too jingly jangly, spingly spangly. No, we can't be having the jingle jangles in the sound. This is not an ASMR video. Hi guys, it's ALCHEMY. How's everyone doing? Good, 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 I hope. I wanted to do a video about 10 recent niche perfume discoveries that I have made, things that have really got my juices flowing, things that I'm really excited about, things that I want to shout about. I've been making quite a few discoveries recently after feeling somewhat uninspired for quite a while. I don't know if you felt that from me, but it happened a little bit. Anyway, here we are. So yeah, these are 10 things that I have loved, worn, or just want to tell you guys about them. And also I want to make a point of saying I'm going to make this very easy for especially you guys in the UK that watch me. No favoritism, love you all, but I found all of these perfumes in one shop. So if you did want to sample them, test them, find them, you can buy samples from the website of this shop. They're all contained in this one beautiful space. Whenever I do videos like this, I often get people say, where can I get that one? Where can I get that one? I don't know how to find that one. For you guys in the UK, at least, you can get them all in one place. I'll put a link to the shop below. It's called Javoy. A lot of you might know it already. Fabulous little space with 2,000 perfumes. Which is where I found all of these ones. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you about them and try not to gush. I've not really planned what I'm going to say about them, but we'll see what happens. Okay, let's go. So I'm going to start with this little pocket rocket, and not just because it matches my jumper. This is called Unue, or it's called Unue. I can never pronounce it properly, and it's by Jeroboam, okay? Jeroboam is Javoy's sister line. They have their own line of fragrances, and then they have a separate line called Jeroboam, which if you didn't know is the giant bottle of champagne that you can get. Anyway, this cute little thing is amazing. Do not let the little tiny white bottle fool you. They are all extra strength, and a lot of them, or all of them I think, are centered around musks, okay? So the reason I love this one, let me just get my blotter. Oh bums, of course they're on the other side of the room when I'm already hooked up to all of this contraption. Okay, got me blotters, I'm gonna spray it. I will say I've worn this quite a few times and it is a compliment getter. So, those of you that know me know that my favorite perfume in the world is Samsara by Guerlain. That is the main reason that I love this perfume. This perfume shares quite a few notes with Samsara. It shares the ylang, it shares the sandalwood, it shares the jasmine. It has all of the elements of Samsara that I love. However, add in a whole bunch of beautiful sensual musks, and then also a little bit of a fruity element. So this has got a plum note and it's got a pineapple note, I believe. It's just stunning. I had 2 compliments in one day when I wore this. So take the sensuality of Samsara, take that kind of exotic jasmine feeling, paired together with the sandalwood and the ylang. You know, it's become, I would say, something that I see popping up every now and then, kind of like Roger Dove's Danger, or there's one by a brand called Prudence. It's kind of like the Samsara effect, shall we say. But it's softened and it's so elegant. And you know, I'm so happy I found this, because when my vintage Samsara formulations run out, when I finish my bottles, this is where I'm gonna go next. So happy to have found it. It's just beautiful. It's a softer, elegant Samsara with tinges of fruit, I would say, but just a whole load of musk. So Unue by Jeroboam. It's 30 mils and it's an extra though. You do not need a lot. Not that that stops me. The next one is in this video because it is everything that I miss and love about 90s perfumes. I love the 90s in terms of perfumery. It was a time when designers were releasing super individual fragrances, thought out fragrances, potent, strong, unique fragrances before the rise of the flankers and the rise of the fruity florals and the, you know, let's just put jasmine with vanilla and call it a different name. This perfume is called Aurelien and it's by Carine Roitfeld. So it's here. Carine Roitfeld is an ex-model who became the editor-in-chief of French Vogue, and now she has a fragrance line. I'm sure she does many other things, but she's got a fragrance line called Seven Lovers, and they're all named after 7 lovers. So Aurelien, whoever that guy is, don't know, or girl, could be a guy, it could be a girl, we don't know. Anyway, this perfume is absolutely amazing. Such a surprise and shock. I will say her entire line of fragrances are pretty good, you know. They are really well constructed, bold, punchy, full of body. There's no namby-pamby, like citrusy, airy kind of white musk things. They're all bold, kind of 90s feelings perfumes, and that's why I love this. So what this is essentially an orange blossom. So if you like orange blossom, it might be for you to try, but it is sitting in syrupy, thick resins. There's jasmine as well, and it's got multiple resins. So there's myrrh in here. I think there is a popinax. There is benzoin in here. There's also the amber accord. So it's on the darker side of resinous, but this honeyed orange blossom kind of swirled through resins, and it feels 90s. It gives me, when I smell it, it makes me think of many things all at once. It's almost like Lancome's Poème had a baby with Christian Dior's June, and then the grandmother is the original Dupe Femme. Do you remember Dupe Femme? That kind of almost incensey jasmine. It's got a bit of all of that going on, and it is absolutely wonderful. So it's called Aurelien. I don't know if it's gonna, and it's by Carine Roitfeld. I wore this just the other day and just relished in the moment. It was beautiful. Anyway, next one. Look at this. Ding, ding, ding. How pretty is this? The colour is not the reason I love it. It's the way it smells, which is why I love it. This perfume is called Rose de Pushkar and it's by ALCHEMY. ALCHEMY is the brand name. The perfumer behind the brand is Sonia Constant, not Sophia Grossman, which I have mistakenly said a couple of times. Apologies about that to anyone that I've said that to. Sonia Constant has released her own brand called ALCHEMY. ALCHEMY is a fantasy heroine lady that travels around the world. All of the fragrances are inspired by travel places. There's Thailand inspired perfumes, Japan, but this one is the Indian inspired one of 2 Indian inspired ones actually, and it's about Lake Pushkar in Rajasthan. I didn't fall in love with this until the 3rd time that I wore it, and now I'm just head over heels. I can't stop. So Lake Pushkar is a place in Rajasthan where there are lots of pilgrimages. Pilgrims go and they lay rose petals on this huge lake. It's a huge religious thing, and this perfume is all about that. So obviously it's a rose perfume. However, what I love about this the most is the sandalwood. The roses are sitting on this beautiful bed of creamy, pronounced, gorgeous sandalwood, not a shy and retiring, elusive kind of sandalwood. There's also a bit of saffron in it to give it that sort of exotic twist. There is oud in here as well, but I will tell you, this is the perfect placement of oud. This is not an oud fragrance. It's just enough accent to give it just that far away feeling, you know? The rose is in between jammy and powdery in here, and I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, the colour of it is obviously not so natural, but the perfume itself is absolutely beautiful, and it lasts such a long time. I'm talking, you know, when you wear it in the afternoon, you can smell it the next day if you're a dirty bugger and you don't shower sometimes. Because, you know, sometimes that happens. The next day you can smell things. But yeah, Rose de Pushkar by ALCHEMY, or Sonia Constant as the perfumer. Absolute winner and a beauty for me. You're cute. I like you. The next one, I am surprised myself that I like this one because it is quite far out of my usual style. I do have many styles. I do like a lot of different things, but this one I would never consider something, if I think about my style, I would never suggest this to myself, if that makes sense. So this one though has grabbed my heart a little bit, and I'm going to spray it first because, oh, so it's a happy joy moment, this one. So it's called Blanche Bete, and this is by a brand called Liquide Imaginaires from France. I will say, on the whole, as a brand, not my favorite brand. That's okay. We all have different tastes. We all like different things. But this one, I think it's the standout of their entire collection, which is quite large. And this one is Blanche Bete. It's White Beast. So this one's themed on a mythical creature somewhere in the realm of a unicorn, I think. But how does it smell is what's more important. This is a coconut perfume, which coconut can be quite a divisive note. You know, some people are just like, oh, I don't like coconut. But in here, it's paired together with lactonic milkiness and lots of musk and vanilla as well. There is tuberose in it as well, but for me, it's way, way, way in the background. This really is all about the softest, most comforting, creamy coconut milkshake. And it's not something, like I said, that I would normally wear, but I know there's a time and place for this. Mainly going on holiday to tropical places. It's kind of like a pina colada without the pina. Yeah, that's kind of what it smells like. But the musk in it makes it so sensual, and it's really strong, and it really lasts a long time. I had this on a blotter and like this, and I went to dinner with a friend, and I had the blotter with me, and it was in a bag on the table, and it was just wafting out of the bag. Whenever the wind blew, it was like, I can smell this Blanche Bete. This White Beast is trying to be known. I've heard that this gets quite a lot of hype in the fragrance community. I didn't know that when I smelled it and fell in love with it, but I can kind of understand it. Think of Hypnotic Poison by Dior, but minus the kind of licoricey parts. It's pretty fantastic and a great one. And also matches my jumper a little bit. Didn't choose it for aesthetic purposes, chose it because I love it. Okay, next one. Let's talk about Nanshe by Nishane. Here she is. Are you gonna focus, please? There you go. I want to talk about Nanshe because Nanshe is my favourite fragrance from the Turkish brand Nishane. You never really hear about this one. It's always, she's always, I'm going to say she because it's about a goddess. It's about the goddess of purity and peace and light. And the reason I want to talk about this one, other than the fact that I love it so much, is that she always gets overshadowed by the talk of Hachavat or Hasavat, or Arni, or Fan Your Flames, or 100 Silent Ways. They always get talked about so much that this one just gets overshadowed. It's so beautiful. For me, it's easily the most beautiful fragrance in their line. And also, while being beautiful, it has some real interesting facets and some real interesting notes that you don't find every day in perfumery. And it wasn't until I wore this for the first time and went on the London Underground and just felt it kind of wafting around me. You know, you have that moment where you're like, oh, I smell really good today. So this is beautiful. It has a note of carrot. It has some soft floral notes. It has rice powder in there as well. There's also jasmine, and then it has cardamom as well, and sandalwood. And I can, even though it's inspired by a goddess, like not even though it's inspired by, no, not even though. It's inspired by a goddess, and this does smell like something to me that someone from a different realm would wear. I mean, it's so pretty with a little bit of an edge. The rice powder doesn't make it like powder puff. It just gives it a nice, subtle, powdery edge. The cardamom is quite prominent, but it doesn't smell like coffee ice cream. And the florals to me are non-distinguishable, and I like that. There's a floral element here, of course, but it's not like I can pick out jasmine or anything like that. It's just interesting. I've not smelled a soft perfume. I've actually not smelled a perfume like this before. I've not smelled anything that even comes close to how this smells, which is why I think this Nishane should be the one that people talk about instead of the Aventus clone, which I really like, by the way. But so nice. sparkles and also softness at the same time. It manages to do both. It pulls you in both directions. Bright cleanliness with sensuality underneath. I really love Nanshe by Nishane. And whenever I say Nanshe, it makes me giggle inside a little bit because I think of the female name Nancy, but just pronounced Nanshe. Oh, Nanshe, I love you. Okay, next one. Let's bring a little magic to the video, shall we? The next perfume is one of the most unique things I've smelled recently, but also one of the most beautiful. This is called Malia, and it seems like I've chosen white bottles. It's definitely not the case. I didn't think ahead. I didn't even know I was going to wear this today, but I knew I was doing video today. So this is called Malia, and it's by an Italian brand called Nobile 1942. Watch this brand, people. They are split into two for me. They have classic, well-constructed kind of fougères and ambers and things like that. And then they have this whole other side to them where they do edgy, cool, definitely unique things that I have definitely never smelled before. And this is one of them. Malia is themed on a witch, like a seductress, a witch who was going to be tried and hanged, but she managed to seduce her executioner, who gave her a potion that made her fall asleep, so it looked like she was dead and then she could survive. Anyway, how does the perfume smell? Absolutely amazing and unique is all I can say. The perfume is centered around osmanthus. So osmanthus, if you don't know, gives you usually a fruity nuance or a fruity note. It gives you apricot, it gives you a kind of a soft, almost leathery apricot. In here though, the things that surround this osmanthus is where it gets interesting for me. So, I'll show you a bit closer as well. So yeah, it's called Malia. It's unreal. So they say here that it's got stupefying substance effect. I don't know what that is. That could be anything, you know. These perfumers and these brands, they like to do a little dance and give you a little bit of the fantasy. But the way this smells to me is, it's a floral unlike any other. It's got a real chalkiness. It's like apricots, a chalk drawing of an apricot. That's what it feels like to me. There is some light spices in here as well. It's powdery, so it's got this kind of ethereal powderiness with spice and yeah, like a chalky osmanthus. Never tried anything like this before. It's just wow, it really is. It's got marjoram in it, so it's got like a herbal kick as well. It has pepper and it has tobacco flowers as well. So it's a real unusual mix and it comes together so well. I kind of wish I didn't know the note. It's one of those perfumes where I feel like it's an experience more than, you know, let me dissect this. This is a perfume that I don't think I'll ever actually review because it's too magical. I want to keep it for what it is. There's a medicinal aspect going on as well, but all together it's soft and it is about a seductive white witch. So just remember that. But yeah, Malia by Nobile 1942. This brand is doing really good things. So yeah, that one. Another brand that I'm watching closely, the next one is called Royal Incense, and this is by Oman Luxury. Let me see if it will focus for you. Hold on. Here you go. Royal Incense. The brand's called Oman Luxury. As far as incenses go, ooh, this one's pretty good. The first time I tried this, I said, ooh, give me more. Oh, this one makes me so happy. If you're an incense lover, you have to try this one out. So this is a frankincense steeped in honey. And the honey here I need to talk about because honey in perfumery can go many ways. It can go really, really flowery, of course, because honey's made from bees who pollinate flowers. However, it can also go a little bit urinous. In here, it's kind of neither of those things. It's just enough sweet without being cloying. You can feel the honey in here, but the frankincense, it's frankincense really, which is the incense part of this, it really cuts through the sweetness. Oh Lord, it's so good. I don't know why I said Lord, maybe because it's an incense perfume, I don't know. There's also geranium in here, there's also pink pepper in here, there's a bit of cedarwood of course, there's also a bit of amber, but really the frankincense is the star of the show. And frankincense, you know, it is in here, it can be well, it is actually kind of coniferous and piney and kind of bright as an incensey note. I'm not talking about smoked frankincense here, I'm talking about the resin in its raw form. You get all of the brightness, all of that piney coniferous goodness from frankincense dipped in a honey note that is not overly honey. It just gives it enough sweetness. It's so, so nice. There's such a sexiness to this one. If I smelled this on a person, I would want to like nuzzle up to them a bit more. It's not going to be for everyone, but if you're a frankincense lover, this is one of the best ones I've ever smelled, and the quality of their perfumes is great as well. I'm watching them very closely, believe me. So that's Royal Incense by Oman Luxury. We move on to the best ginger perfume I have ever tried. And I've got my little 18ml one here. It's called Oro Bianco, and it's by Bois 1920. Look how cute, another white bottle. Not planned. So cute. They do come in 100ml bottles, but I've got my little 80ml one, so I thought I'd put that in the video. It's so cute. Sorry guys, my battery ran out, which usually happens in every video. It's a common occurrence. Anyway, what was I saying? Oro Bianco by Bois 1920. If you're going to sit there and say it should be Bois 1920, it's not the case. It's actually pronounced Bois 1920 because of it's an acronym for many things which I won't go into. Anyway, this was an instant love. This was one of those, no more questions need to be asked. I don't care what's in you. I just know that I want to smell like you on any given day. And I need you in my collection immediately, if not sooner, really. So as I said, this is the best ginger perfume I have ever smelled. This is incredible. I have my little one, but I will be seeking out 100ml of this when this one's gone, which is going to be really soon, because 18ml in my house doesn't go very far. Let's talk about the ginger. This is not a bright citrusy kind of that type of ginger perfume, you know, where it would be like a top note. This is more along the lines of, if you've ever smelled Lush, they have a perfume called Ginger. It's more in that direction. It's the deeper, spicier side of ginger, like ginger root, as opposed to, you know, let's make it citrusy. I don't know, I didn't explain that very well, but you kind of get what I mean, right? And this is put together with loads of sandalwood. It's powdery. I didn't ever think I would experience like this spicy, fiery ginger smell with so many sensual notes. I think there's ylang in here as well. There's musk. Think of white ginger. Ginger wrapped up in a little fluffy blanket. That's what it is. And if, yeah, like I said, if you're familiar with Lush's one, you Lushy people will understand what I mean. It's that type of ginger. It's, I'm kind of lost for words about it. I've worn it so many times. It's like someone made ginger into a powder puff and then put this beautiful sandalwood underneath and then just stole my heart. I don't know. It's called white gold. And I don't know why it's called white gold, but it definitely gives the feeling of white. This is to me like a bedtime kind of sexy time kind of deal. I've never worn it in hot weather. I've only worn it in cold. But if you like ginger, I'll stop gushing about this one, but definitely try this one out if you can. Bois 1920 have quite a large line of perfumes, and this one just sticks out an absolute mile for me. It's so unique and beautiful. So yeah, sensual, spicy, deep, dark ginger with this kind of puffiness. I don't know. Okay, second to last one is called Prolixe, and it's by Histoires de Parfums. This one here, Prolixe. The name has me a little bit because it makes me think of the word prolapse. But we won't go there. We'll just gloss over that, shall we? This was another one. I didn't love it instantly, but once I wore it, it was game over. So this one is part of their, I'm not sure of the line actually, because they're another brand that has quite a few, but I love their bottles. I love that they're 120ml bottles. You get that little bit extra, you know. You probably pay a little bit extra too, but that's fine. I like big bottles and I cannot lie. God, stop, Tom, just stop. So this one to me is, it treads the line between being the softest leather and the softest tobacco. They don't list tobacco as a note, but that's the feeling I get from it. So the note list actually is kind of way out there. It's not really, when I read the note list, I just think, oh, okay, if I read that, I never would have guessed that that's how it's going to smell. The overall effect of this though is a really sensual, soft, leathery, almost kind of like hookah pipe tobacco with powdery edges as well. I think it's a real unsung one from the brand. I don't know, there are certain other ones that get so much more attention, but this black bottle one, Prolixe, is, yeah, it's super special. This is another one of those evening perfumes that I would wear when I want to feel a little bit sexy and cool, you know? It's really great. It's very lightly spiced as well. Not too much. The spices almost kind of sink into this soft, it's almost like suede type leather feeling. And to me, it's pretty unique, although I have found recently something else from Bois 1920 that is in the same realm, but this one takes the cake. This one's the better one of the two. Yeah, soft, almost kind of brown suede feeling. Just lovely. Yeah, just wanted to highlight it. I've worn it quite a few times and I think it's great. So we're going to talk about the last one and then we're going to wrap the video up because I've been talking quite a lot. So we're ending on this little bundle of joy from a really cute little English brand called Ormonde Jayne. This perfume is called Tanger, and do you know what? This one has been one of those grow love affairs. Liked it when I first smelled it, worn it, smelled it on someone that I know very well. Emily, love you. What are you doing today? I'm sure you'll text me soon. Yeah, you will. Oh God, this is so great. This fragrance epitomizes casual, right? It epitomizes casual without being boring. That's how I describe it. In my head, it feels like something that could be worn every single day, but it's not run of the mill. So the opening is the one that gets me. Oh, in fact, I like the opening and the dry down equally, and that doesn't usually happen. Oh. So Tanger is essentially a neroli perfume, okay? So it's mainly about neroli, but it's the brightest, bounciest, sunny, fizziest neroli I've ever smelled. The opening, surprisingly, is smoother than the dry down. So it opens, to me, neroli, of course, but it's not a typical one. If you know Ormonde Jayne perfumes, they're done with this kind of cleanliness. They're done with this finesse that feels like they inject a bit of air into all of their compositions. And Tanger's like the queen of that. It's the queen of the airy, bouncy funness. So it opens with neroli, but for me, it's blanketed in soft tissue scented love. I've said that about some perfumes before where I feel like they smell like scented tissues. I know that's quite generic and vague, but if you can imagine a scented tissue, what would it smell like? Tanger has that in the beginning. It's got this cashmere-y, tissuey scented facet over this neroli. And it's got a couple of other fruits. I think it might have blackcurrant in here as well. I'm not sure. I need the big, big, big bottle of this in my life. I really do. But the dry down is where the magic happens. It's beautiful in the opening. The dry down is where it's like someone put the perfume into a soda stream. Did you ever have one of those as a kid? Maybe in the 80s if you're an 80s child? Did you have a soda stream? You'd make your own drinks and then you'd inject the gas into it. That's what happens to this perfume on your skin. It becomes this beautiful fizzy cleanliness that is, it could be something aldehyde-y, but a very bright one, you know? The neroli is always there, giving it this lovely, clean, kind of south of France white floral feeling, but it just smells like clean person. And the dry down is just amazing, and it stays and stays and stays and stays. The color of this bottle sums up the feeling of this perfume. So I wanted to end on a more casual one, something that could easily be worn every day, but you know, you will get noticed by this. It's so, so good. And people don't talk about this one either. They're too busy talking about Tolu and all these other Ormonde woman, Ormonde man. Give Tanger a try. That's the one that people need to be talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now. Okay guys, I hope you like this video and I hope you possibly discover something that you might like from this video. If you do, leave me a comment and let me know. We can discuss it a little bit. All right, I'm out on my note, trying to make the world smell better, one video at a time. I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.